Wood. You can sand it. You can paint it. You can burn it. You can even hit the hands of little bad kids in class. I know, I went into Danielle's strawberry shortcake pencil box and got her snorkel eraser. But they didn't understand. I drew this great picture of Cooter for art class. I accidentally gave him 6 fingers. I had to fix it. Does that deserve to get my hand popped? Sure, I know. I got out of my desk without permission. I left the room without a hall pass, and I went 2 doors down to Miss Stevenson's class while they were at recess, and I went into Danielle's pencil box and got her snorkel eraser, her favorite one. But come on, if you saw that picture of Cooter, you would understand. Danielle, and what's she so special? I had people use my stuff without permission. Did they ever get popped on the hand with a ruler? No, I don't think so. But not Danielle. Danielle was special. Why? Oh, she had diabetes and she was able to eat candy in the classroom whenever she wanted to. All us other kids had to wait till 11:30 to walk 5 miles, or what seemed like 5 miles, down to the lunchroom in the basement to eat a square pizza. But not Danielle. I don't care what time of day it was, she could pull a Mars bar or a Snicker bar or even a Goo Goo Cluster out of her book bag and eat it in class while the rest of us are studying our spelling words. Okay, I'm rambling now. Let's get on to talking about wood. What else can you do with wood? You can carve it. And that's what Kenner designers did. One of the first things designers do is make the toy out of wood. That way they could get a lot more better detail. Take, for example, the Millennium Falcon. I don't think a lot of people realize how much detail is in that Falcon. And you couldn't really get this by just doing prototypes or drawings. So you made a bigger version of the toy you were going to make, and a lot more detail you could do with wood. Sadly, a lot of these wooden patterns were destroyed. They served their purpose and was thrown away at Kenner. But a few have made it outside of Kenner. For one thing, in the early days of Kenner, they outsourced a lot of stuff, and a shop in Michigan made these wooden patterns, or at least some of them. And luckily the guy held on to a couple of them, and they ended up in Gus Lopez's Star Wars collection. And then luckily some of the Kenner designers took photos back in the day of the wooden patterns. So sit back, relax, and let's look at wood. As you can see here from this wooden pattern of the Falcon, look at all the detail. Of course it's missing some of the parts of it. And there was probably another piece of wood that had the rest of the Falcon, but this is the only photo we have. I think a lot of people forget about all the detail that went into the Falcon. As you think of this toy was starting to be designed in 1977, released for 78, it's amazing how much detail they got into this toy. And here, mounted to a piece of wood, is a wooden pattern of the cargo bay door. That's pretty cool, but that's not the only wooden pattern we have. No, it's not. Now when you first see this wooden pattern, you're probably thinking, I know what that is. That's the Han Solo pistol, the one that shoots, the one you put batteries in, and it makes that drill sound like you're at the dentist. No, actually this was the blaster for the 12-inch or large size Han Solo action figure. And in this archive photo from the Kenner design team, you can see it next to a ruler. Just wanted to erase. Anyway, let's look at another one. What is this one? Well, of course, it's a lightsaber and handle for the large size Ben Kenobi or Luke Skywalker saber. Not much to say about this photo, but as you can see they got a lot more detailed with the piece of wood than they would just drawing it. And to show you how big the wood patterns are, check out this back panel for the X-Wing fighter. Of course, the white one is the one actually used for the toy, and the big brown one is the wood pattern. As you can see, all that detail and how much bigger it was compared to the actual thing. Earlier when I showed you that wooden pattern of a gun and you thought it was that laser gun, you were wrong, but this time you'll be right. This is an old photo from the Kenner design team. Sadly, this wooden pattern of the Han Solo pistol was probably destroyed once there was no use for it anymore. Now this one's not a very good picture, and it's probably even hard to tell exactly what it is you're looking at, but believe it or not, it's the belt for the large size Luke Skywalker figure. As you can see, it's still mounted on the wood. By far, probably the coolest playset from the vintage Star Wars line is the Kenner Death Star. Notice I said the Kenner Death Star. I didn't say that round one from the UK. Okay, it's probably cool. I didn't have it as a kid, so maybe I'm biased, but something about a tower, an elevator that works, a monster that lives in the trash, a trash compactor that works. To me, that sounds better than a round piece of cardboard. But again, I didn't have it, so maybe I'm biased. But did they make a huge Death Star out of wood? That would be very cool if they did. And who knows, maybe they did and we just don't know about it. But we do know they made that big blue gun. And here it is. Look at all that detail. Of course, it's missing the end part. And in this archive photo here, you can see they've done both sides of the cannon. And in the background, might be a little hard to see, I wish we had a better picture of it, is a drawing of what the gun would look like. Not really sure what the color represents, but it looks pretty freaky. Not really much to say here, not really much detail to add. As you can see, it's the wing to the Darth Vader TIE Fighter. But Darth Vader wasn't the only one that had a ship. And here's the wooden pattern of the X-Wing. These photos come from the Kenner design team. And again, I hate that these got destroyed or thrown away, but at least some of the designers did take photos of it. One of the most popular characters in Star Wars is, of course, Boba Fett. And what did he fly? The Slave One. Now, we only have the back side of the belly. I would love to see a wood pattern of the front side, but sadly, this is the only angle we have. Sadly, that's all from The Empire Strikes Back, so we're going to go to Return of the Jedi, to one of my favorite ships, the B-Wing. Don't you talk bad about the B-Wing. It's cool. It has a cockpit that spins around, so your figure's always sitting in the same direction. When you turn your ship around, flying it around, playing with it, the figure doesn't rock all around. It just sits right there in its cockpit. It's very cool. And this one did survive and is in collector's hands today. Again, it's not the entire ship, and it's really just one wing, but you get a look at all the detail that went into it. And here you can see the backside of it, just plain and simple. With these, we have a little closer look so you can really see the detail in these wooden patterns. Again, these are very impressive. Now let's look at these archive photos to look at the wooden pattern to Y-Wing. Again, a lot of good detail. This is almost the whole ship, and it looks very impressive. And again, like I said 1,138 times in this video, it's impressive at all the detail. As you can see from these photos, the designers at Kenner's didn't skip a beat. They could have easily took out some of these details and made us put stickers on it for the details, or just didn't even do that much details and we probably wouldn't have cared. But it's clear from these designs that the Kenner team really cared about the line. They didn't just slap this thing together and throw it out there. And here's a look at the front of the Y-Wing. And one more of the bottom. But let's look at one more, and I wanted to save the best for last. And it's so great this thing held out. It's so great that this thing was found, that it wasn't destroyed. Let's go back to 1978 with the Star Wars line and look at the wooden pattern to a toy I never had as a kid. This one here, I don't even remember as a kid wanting this one or knowing this one was out there until sometime later. We're going to take a look at the Jawa Sandcrawler. Luckily, this was one of the items found at the Michigan workshop and is now in the collection of Gus Lopez. This thing is impressive. Look at this. As you can see from this photo here, how much bigger it is than the actual Sandcrawler that got released, which is a pretty big sized toy. Again, a lot of detail with this. It's a thing of beauty. It almost looks like a wooden shoeshine box, but it's not a wooden shoeshine box. It's a Sandcrawler made of wood. I mean, there's a lot of photos, and I'd like to talk during the photos, but I don't really have much more to say than just, look at this thing, it is awesome. I would love to see it in person. Hey, Gus Lopez, invite me over. Let me see this thing. Let me see if I can jam one of my Jawas inside that little hole. The Sandcrawler hole, that is. Anyway, that's a look at the wooden patterns for some of the Star Wars toys. Again, sadly, a lot of these got lost over time or just thrown away when they wasn't needed anymore. But I like looking at these because it kind of gives you a feel what goes into making toys. We all know about concept art and maybe prototypes, but this is something, I don't think they probably do this anymore now with computers and everything. I really doubt those Hasbro designers are sitting around carving hallways into wood or stairs that go nowhere into wood. But I really like seeing these early days of toys where you really get a feel how toys were made, how much work went into something just to get it out there. Well, let me know what you think in the comments below about these wooden patterns. Did you like them? Did you hate them? Let me know in the comments below. Sure you will. And until the next time, as always, please thumb up so I know you like my content. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk again soon.
Junkman.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.